Robert Trim, how are we doing, man?
Well, Spencer, we're doing great. Long time no chat. Feel like we do this regularly.
I know, dude. I know. But hey, this is like the first time we're doing it on the KSU campus. We were talking about this a little bit off camera. This is the first time you're kind of seeing all of this.
It's not the first time, but it is massively different than when I went here. I graduated in 1998. I sat on the advisory board for a lot of this growth. But every time I come on campus again, there's something else I recognize or don't recognize and see as something we thought about, but it's come to fruition. It's kind of cool and a little overwhelming.
It's interesting growing old, isn't it, Robert?
Oh, well.
Well, hey, man, let's get to the meat and potatoes. You are running for House District 35 here in Georgia. How is that going?
It's going great. We're doing a lot of doors. We've been to, as a campaign, over 10,000 doors. Individually, I've been close to 3,000 doors. Reception has been fantastic. A lot of different people, a lot of diverse ideas, but a lot of great conversations.
That's awesome, Robert. You talk about uh, when you knock on doors, man. In my experience with some of the campaigns and organizations that I've knocked on, when you really get down into the grassroots of it and talk to the individual behind the door, man, you learn so much.
Oh, you absolutely do, because they're not used to a candidate who comes and wants to listen to what they feel and what they think about things and how things are going. They don't often get an opportunity to meet somebody running for office who sincerely wants to hear what it is they believe and have a conversation at their doorstep.
Well, Robert, it leads me to ask, man, what are they talking about? So, like, when they open up the door and you give them, your spiel, what are some of the conversations they lead you through?
There are a lot of various conversations, but they all lead back right now in the current environment to the economy. People are really concerned about gas prices. They're concerned about interest rates. They're really, really concerned about food shortages, which surprised me. I don't get to spend a lot of time at home, so right now, so I'm not doing a lot of grocery shopping. But those are the things, those everyday life things that I think we took for granted over the last 5 years have really changed in the last 18 months.
Yeah, Robert, you're absolutely right. I have a similar experience, when I go and knock on doors. I mean, everybody's talking about the economy. It's the economy, it's the economy, it's the economy.
Absolutely.
This gas is just hurting me.
Yeah.
Uh, Robert, I want to delve into the past a little bit, man, and a little bit into the present as well. You know, did you always have this proclivity to go into some kind of representation, or was this something that circumstance just kind of led you into?
Proclivity. Okay, I am back on a college campus. Um, yeah, I never wanted or sought office. That wasn't my plan. I spent a little over 20 years as a political consultant. I staffed the Georgia legislature in different ways for about 20 years as well. But I think it's 18 sessions when I counted them. So I came at this very reluctantly. Um, I chose to run because no one had stepped up to run as a Republican with conservative values, with some traditional values to keep Georgia on the right track, and not just turn it over to people who don't see the world as the way I do. That want to defund the police, that want to, shut down our schools, mask our children, things that just don't make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, Robert, you bring up a great point. Trying our best in Georgia to maintain those traditional values. We're in a bit of an upset in that regard, and a lot of folks are worried about that. And I'll tell you something. One of the things that I hear a lot from people in regard to going out and door knocking for you is a lot of them don't even know that Ed Setzler has moved on, that he's got a new section that he's working on, and that you're going to be taking the mantle. Have you gotten that a lot?
Yeah, I get that a lot. One of the things I have to reassure a lot of people is that I'm not running against Ed. I am not running against Ed. Uh, Ed has done a phenomenal job for North Cobb. He has chosen to run for state senate. He'll do a phenomenal job as a state senator. So,
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. And in that, it's so cool to see how this process works, especially as a political science individual, somebody majoring in political science. I'm actively seeing an individual, take down his mantle so that he can hand it off to another person to, take up and represent accordingly. That being said, the district has changed a little bit, Robert. It's changed a little bit. How are the conversations going in that regard?
as a political science guy who graduated from here in '98,
Mhm.
I get your interest for sure. And one of the things that I learned back then is no matter what they say about a big group of people, when you talk to individuals, those things fall apart.
Yeah.
And so, you know, um, a lot of what I hear, a lot of what we see is people really talking about what affects them close to home. This really is kitchen table stuff. And that's kind of where we are on this one.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you on that one as well. Again, when you start crossing into like what is perceptionally the middle, and then you're just left of middle or you're just right of middle, at the end of the day, when you come down to the dinner table, you're all talking about the same thing. And actually somewhat on the same pathway, really, which is what's so great about local politics. So what is it that you do now? You're of course not a representative yet, but right now as it is, what do you do in the community, Robert?
So currently, I am a commercial real estate agent. I have an office on Main Street in downtown Kennesaw. We like and work with small downtowns that are in the rejuvenation mode. It's kind of what we like to do: get into these old buildings, repurpose them, get a good new use into them, draw some more energy into these little downtowns throughout Georgia.
Yeah, that is a fun thing, and especially an interesting job to have right now, especially with KSU on the rise. I mean, I think last I heard, we're at 44,000 students and rising. So, I mean, you're going to start to see kind of a shift in that way as time goes on and KSU becomes more and more popular.
Absolutely. And in fact, I was in conversations with some folks in the city government about how to engage the university more. With homecoming coming up, we've talked about what the city can do downtown to support alumni, support family that come in. Because now, when I was here, this was a transient campus. It was completely commuter. They were opening the first dorms as I was leaving. So now with so many students on campus from out of state and out of the area, it's really a different dynamic, and we're seeing it happen, and it's really exciting for the small cities and towns around here.
Well, Robert, I've got two more questions for you, man. The first one, I kind of want to address the conservative individuals that are on the college campus. If you were to be speaking to them right now, the mass of conservative individuals here on campus, what would you impart on them?
Gosh, there's so much. When I was here, the college Republicans, the conservative movement had been stifled quite a bit. And so we had to fight and claw our way back. We had to fight with the administration. But one of the things I learned is you don't back down. Don't leave campus. Don't give up your space. Keep your beliefs and move forward. And it doesn't matter if that's in the classroom or if that's on the student green or in the cafeteria. You have to hold your ground and hold your beliefs, because if you hold them and you believe them in your heart, they're important, and it will transcend, and it's worth the little bit of aggregation.
No, you're good, man. I did it earlier too.
Aggravation, right? That you might get from some people who, want to shout down ideas that don't match theirs. And that's really unfortunate on a college campus.
It is, man. And we're dealing with that now. I feel like it's something that we're always going to deal with on college campuses. It's a tale as old as time. But it is important imparting a message like that. I totally agree. Now, Robert, one last question. For the folks that you haven't knocked on the door yet, they might be seeing this video and seeing you for the first time.
Sure.
What is it that you would like to tell them?
I'm engaged in our community. I have been part of this community since 1994. That I work here every day. I live here, and I want to represent them with the values that I know this district really holds dear. Strong family, strong parent engagement, strong business community. And I want to make sure those things continue to stay vibrant, and that the government gets out of the way. And so I need their vote and their support, and I need them to tell 2 or 3 neighbors how important this race is, because it's going to be close. And I'll add this. So I am excited to tell you that on the 27th, the evening of the 27th of October, we'll be having a debate here on campus with my opponent.
That is correct. Yeah, we're going to be announcing that here pretty soon. Well, you know what? Shoot, we just announced it.
I think so.
That works out pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, Robert Trim, thank you so much for joining us here at KSU. We're just going to walk on here and kind of enjoy the day. What do you think?
Sounds like a great plan. It's a great day.
Let's do it, man.
Let's go.